Hello and welcome to PalaceFanTV for our West Brom preview video, and we've got a man who's making his second appearance on PalaceFanTV this season from Baggies Facts. It's Dan Watts. Dan, how you doing?
Yeah, not so bad. Cheers, mate.
Good. Now, Palace West Brom, the link between the two clubs, of course, is Tony Pulis. And on the last video, I asked you what you thought of Pulis, and you sort of said, well, he splits the crowd, but I think he's okay. What do you think of Pulis now?
I still think he's okay. He's the man for the job for this season. There's no doubting that he's the man for the job this season. If we were to change things now, we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot. But I do think there has to be discussions come the end of the season as to what sort of direction we're going to be taking going forward. The unrest at the club has come about due to he just splits fans completely, and there's so many people unhappy with the style of football, and then there's so many. I wouldn't say there's so many now, but there's a few that would stand up for the results side of it, because he does get your results. It's plain and simple, really. He does get results. Like the game at Everton a couple of weeks back, it was just, I think we registered 24% possession, which was the lowest total for any team in the Premier League this season, but we won the game.
Yeah.
So, it's all well and good going to the bigger clubs and doing that, but it's just when it comes to home games against sides in and around us in the table, and even games away at teams in the lower leagues like we've had in the FA Cup, and we've still registered less possession than they have. We've just not took the game to them, and we've got the players to do so. So it's just a bit frustrating to see that. I did think there'd be more progression. I did think there'd be more wing play. I did think there'd be more action in the box this season. But Pulis has reverted to type. We're looking at the Stoke days, the early Stoke days, in terms of our performances so far this season. So you can understand there's unrest. There's some that want him gone now. It's not the solution. We don't need to sack him now, but we need a rethink in the summer months as to what we're going to do going forward. I reckon it's about 50-50 as to whether he stays and goes in the summer.
I mean, that unrest as well last week manifested itself in that bizarre scenario where there was a coin thrown at Chris Brunt. What's the sort of reaction been like from the other West Brom fans to that incident?
Well, the Baggies fans have been tried to be really positive about it since. Of course, it drags our name through mud. We've always been seen as a fairly friendly club, I think, from the outside. And it's not the sort of image that we want to portray, And it is literally one absolute idiot who's gone and chucked a coin at a player that's, he's played. I think it's somewhere in the region of 320 odd games, maybe. I don't know the exact number, but he's played a hell of a lot of games for the club. He's been a great servant. He always puts 100% in. His performances can be questioned at times, like any other player, but there's no need for such a reaction. And I think it does come back to the unrest amongst the supporters, the way it flared up, and there was a lot of anger shown towards the players, which is absolutely fine to a certain degree because you're paying ticket price. But to take it to the level that some of the fans took it to, gesturing towards Chris Brunt and then throwing a coin at him, it's absolutely disgusting. I and 99.9% of sane West Bromwich Albion fans will be glad to see the back of the fella that's chucked the coin. There's been an arrest made, whether it's him or not, I'm not too sure. But hopefully he never steps foot inside the Hawthorns again. And from what I I consider he's not a West Bromwich Albion fan. So,
Yeah.
just to put it back on you, what's the perspective from opposing teams looking at it? Are you looking at West Brom now, thinking, right, this is a club in turmoil, and a West Bromwich Albion as a fan base a bit different to how we used to be? Or
No, I think what you said is right. I think most sane football fans see it as one idiot doing an unacceptable thing, and that 99% of fans are not like that. And to be honest, I think if it happened at any other club, it happened at Palace, then Palace fans would react the same and would want that individual banned and would hope that it doesn't reflect, the rest of the crowd who turn up each week and pay their money and support like normal fans.
Well, that's good. I mean, for Palace fans travelling to a game, look out for we've Baggies fans have clubbed together and we're doing a banner for Chris Brunt to show support, and there's going to be a collection around the ground, for money towards a charity of Chris Brunt's choice, as like a sorry gesture. Not that really the Baggies fans have to say sorry, because on the whole we've not done anything wrong, but we just feel bad for the fact that a player that's played for the club for so long has had to go through that. It is, you can understand his reaction. He wasn't very pleased, and it's deplorable. It's horrible. It's wrong. So yeah.
Well, that's a nice reaction from West Brom fans, and I'm sure that Palace fans going to the game will support that, because, like you said, I think there's always been a bit of a friendly connection between Palace and West Brom. To be honest, I don't think there's ever been any animosity between the two clubs, has there?
That's it. Yeah.
Speaking of Chris Brunt, though, the last time Palace played West Brom, he had a bit of a torrid time against Wilfried Zaha, didn't he? He was at left back,
yeah,
and Wilfried was on him, had a very good game. Do you think that's where the game we won and lost again, that down the flanks? We might have Balassi back, maybe starting, maybe off the bench. Do you think that's where Palace can hurt West Brom?
In a bit of a preview for the Eagles Beak, I did say that I think that Kabay would be your danger man, because we've looked a bit shaky in midfield for the last probably month or so since we've had James Morrison out injured. I wouldn't say that Claudio Jakob has performed as well as he can, and we've had Gardner filling in there as well, with Fletcher just behind the striker, which isn't a natural position for him. So I think that if you can win the midfield battle with Kabay, he can play some like defence splitting passes. He can battle us well inside that midfield, and I'm just not sure we've got a player that can do that unlocks teams from nothing. We do rely on Stefan Sessegnon, and he can be quite isolated on the right wing at times. So I think that Kabay could be the key player for Palace in the weekend.
He has had a bit of an iffy couple of months, so he needs to step it up. So this could be the game that he does that. But speaking of iffy results, it looks from the outside like West Brom's form in the league hasn't been too bad. I think he beat Stoke last time out. On paper it looks okay, doesn't it?
We've not been too bad. In terms of, if you look at purely our results, then you'd probably say, yeah, we're about where we should be as a club. The amount of money that we're spending on players, our wage bill, we're probably doing about what is expected of us. However, there has been spells throughout the season where we've lost and then lost again and lost again and played extremely poorly. We've showed no intent. We've got no shots on target. In terms of possession and shots on target and shots at goal, we are the lowest in the Premier League, bar none, for all three of those statistics. And I think it really is showing, and fans are turning up at the Hawthorns, and it's sort of the atmosphere. It's not good, and I think everyone's just feeling sorry for themselves at the minute, and there's a lot of people that do simply just want Pulis out, and an appointment made where we're going to have a manager that's going to be a bit more forward thinking. Whether our chairman sees it that way, though.
Well, it's funny you say, because that's exactly what happened at Palace, wasn't it? We had Pulis for a bit, he steadied the ship, and then he went of his own volition. And then eventually we got Pardew, who was more forward thinking. So you wondered whether West Brom might follow that suit in the future.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I hope so.
Well, I hope so for you as well, Dan. Should we get on
We've been bored into submission at the minute.
we know that feeling. We know that well. Should we have a prediction then? What do you think the score is going to be on Saturday?
I'm going to go for a 1-1. I'm going to say that the Baggies get an early lead, and then we defend for our lives and concede somewhere in the second half. That's going to be my prediction for this one.
I think that's probably about right, to be honest. And the Palace have had some very... Well, we haven't actually won a Premier League game in 2016 yet, so and we've only got 1 point. So we'll take a point if it comes. I think Palace might sneak it, possibly, but I think it'll be quite a close one.
If I had to predict any team to win the game, it probably would be Palace. And I think you're on the back of, is it 9 games without a win?
Yeah, in the league, yeah.
Albion are the sort of team to just look at that hoodoo and just gift a victory. So I wouldn't be surprised.
We normally do that for other teams,
with it being on the telly as well.
Exactly, yeah.
In front of a watching UK audience. It's probably not the most exciting games to be on the box.
Good stuff. Listen, Dan, thank you very much for joining me.
Not a problem.
Good man, and you can check out Baggies Facts. There'll be a link in the video in the description below the video. Don't forget to subscribe to Palace Fan TV if you haven't yet. It's nearly the end of February. Click that button and subscribe, and comment below with your prediction. What do you think the score's gonna be? And we'll see you again very soon. Cheers.